I've been running the wheel strategy now for well over 7 years, and it is really the only trading strategy that has worked well for me. I've tried day trading, I've tried options buying, and really at the end of the day, all I did was end up losing money when I looked at my portfolio over the span of the year. And really the only thing that's worked for me well long-term has been the wheel strategy. And in today's video, if you're a beginner just getting into selling options, I'm going to give you guys a beginner's masterclass on collecting your first premiums. Now, don't forget, one lucky commenter down below is going to win a free one-on-one option strategy call with me to talk all things quad option strategy. But guys, today we're going to be talking about the wheel strategy and how you could potentially start collecting your first premiums, right? This is a fantastic strategy for beginners. It is considered the safest options trading strategy out there. And for me, it fits for my lifestyle. I don't have to stare at charts all day. I don't have to, micromanage trades. I don't have to draw on candlesticks. All I do is hit this little juice button here when I collect premium for options buyers. So let's go over the shoulder. First, high level. And sorry guys, I'm still getting over a little bit being sick here, but one thing that you have to understand is at a high level, this is what selling options is, right? We have buying options and we have selling options, right? When you are buying calls or you are buying puts, you are paying a premium, right? You're literally paying premium like cash. You're paying your hard-earned money to an option seller on the other end, right? Now, when you are selling calls and you are selling puts, you are collecting that premium from the options buyer, right? You are taking their hard-earned cash up front, okay? So just understand that when you're buying options, you're paying cash, you're paying premium to an option seller like us on the other end, and that's what we call this the juice button, right? Because we're taking that premium from those options buyers, right? They're essentially the gamblers. Now, occasionally they hit it big, for sure, they do hit it big occasionally, but we're like the house and we're just collecting their poker chips over time, right? Now, to kind of go a little bit deeper in here, right? When you are buying calls, right, you have the right to buy a stock at a strike price. The right, right? Now, when you're buying puts, you have the right to sell a stock at a strike price, right? When you are selling calls, you have the obligation to sell a stock at a strike price. And when you're selling puts, you have the obligation to buy a stock at a strike price. I know that might sound confusing to you right now, but we're going to go over and give you guys a clear example of how this all works. And I promise you, when we revisit this in just a few minutes, this will make a lot more sense because I know I've watched all sorts of videos and stuff out there when I was getting into this, and I swear nobody could dumb it down for my brain. Again, I'm not smart enough for crazy, advanced, insane options buying and day trading strategies. Not for me. I want to still live my life. Okay. So let's take an example here, right? So we'll just go and take a look at NVIDIA today, right? This is a very popular stock to sell options on, and it is one of my favorites. Now, what you want to do, whatever brokerage you're using, it doesn't matter. The strategy stays the same. The brokerage account does not matter. But what you want to do is navigate to your trade options section. It'll bring you to an options chain. Yours may look different, but at the end of the day, it's all the same, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to click sell, right? Always be on sell. This is where you're choosing. Are you being an options buyer or are you being an options seller, right? So always make sure you're on the sell side, right? Next, you're going to be selecting, are you selling a call or are you selling a put, okay? Now, when we're running the wheel strategy, the first thing we want to do is sell a put, right? Now, selling a put means that we get to name our price, right, of a stock that we're willing to buy, right, and collect that premium from an options buyer. Let me show you what I mean real quick. So I'm going to click sell a put. As for expiration, I'm just going to select April 25th, which is 31 days out. We'll get into that in a second. Now from here, on the left-hand side, this is where I'm seeing the strike prices, the share prices. This is where I get to select now the price where I'm comfortable buying 100 shares of NVIDIA at, right, on April 25th, 31 days away. So right now it's trading at 119. And if I scroll down here, I'm like, you know what? If NVIDIA drops to like 110 on April 25th, I'm totally cool purchasing 100 shares of NVIDIA, right? So if I click this now, right here, this contract, you could see I would collect $191.96. You could see the market's open, so it's constantly trading. It's $193 now. Now, what does our return look like right there? So I'm just going to use our super simple man's covered call calculator, and I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit for everybody here to see, right? So we're collecting $193, right? Our strike price that we're saying we're willing to buy this at was $110. So our collateral needed is going to be $11,000, right? Because 110, right, times 100 is $11,000, and you could see you're getting a return of 1.75% on your collateral in 31 days. That is a fantastic return in my opinion. Right now, for some of you that maybe have done day trading, options trading, other options trading strategy, you're like 1.75%, Pete, that's lame. Well, the thing about me is I like to be slow and steady. I'm like a turtle, and I'm just here hitting my juice button. Me and my whole crew, we're just hitting this juice button over and over again. A 1.75% return on your money on your collateral on a solid asset like Nvidia, in my opinion, is a great return. Now, if you want bigger returns, right, you have to get closer to the current share price of 119. So you could see here this one right here, right? This 119. If you're saying you're willing to buy it in 30 days at 119, you'd collect $490. $4.90 times 100. I know they kind of make things confusing for a reason, guys, but you have to just, every options contract is times 100, right? It's 100 shares. So 490 here, that's per share. So 490 times 100, right? You collect $490 and you get that up front. And that's coming from that options buyer that I talked about. Now, back to our example with this 110, right? Now, if April 25th rolled around, right, if Nvidia drops to 110, you will buy 100 shares, right? Your $11,000 will be taken from you, right? And you'll be given 100 shares of Nvidia. That's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing because now you own an asset, right, at a price that you chose to buy it at. Now, the second part of the wheel strategy comes into play here. Let's pretend that you own 100 shares today of Nvidia. You just got assigned. Well, now we can run the other side of the wheel, which is running a covered call. Now we can sell a call against our 100 shares. No longer is our collateral our money. Our collateral now is the actual shares. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. So right now, let's say you did buy them for 110. Now, if we click sell a call, and it will just go 31 days out again. Now we could say, hey, you know what? We're willing to sell them at 120. We'll just say real close to the current share price right here. So we'll say 120. The numbers obviously will be a little bit skewed here, right? Because again, we got it at 110, but they'll be roughly around the same, right? So let's say you are totally cool selling your shares that you bought at 110 for $121. Well, for that, you'd collect $540. Let's take a look at what our return is right there. All right, so right here, I'm just going to go to our Super Simple Man's covered call calculator, and you could see that we're collecting $535 of premium, $535. Our strike of option, what we're willing to sell it for, is $121. And we'll go back here and we'll type 121. We bought them for, right, how much? 110 a share. You could see our premium return now is 4.86%. Again, this is a fictitious example, but they'll be about the same, right? Give or take. You could see that our premium return, and this is basically just timesing the share price by 100, and then the premium as in using that number as the collateral, right? So you get a 4.86% return on your shares, right? If you end up selling your shares, you collect another $1,100 in profit, right? That's if you actually sell them for $121 30 days later, for a total profit of $1,635 for a total return of 14.86. Now, to kind of get full circle here, right? Most options do expire worthless, right? They do. Most options do expire worthless, meaning that you just simply walk away with the premium. But if you're playing closer to the share price, you'll be assigned more often and being able to take advantage of that appreciation sale. So you want a good mixture of both, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment, right? So taking a look, right, I always like to add in what my actual total return would be if all legs of the wheel pulled off, because eventually they will. It might not happen in a month, it might not happen in 2 months, but eventually you will be assigned on both ends, right? And you want to, because that's how you make more money, right? You want to get assigned shares so then you could sell them at a better price, right? So our premium here on our cash secured put side, when we sold the put, we collected $193, and we can just put 193 right here, and you could see our total return here is $1,800, right? 1828. So just to quickly see what our entire return on that is, 1828 is 26% return just on basically 2 single trades, doing the cash secured put and then doing the covered call. That is a fantastic return. Now, again, full transparency, most options expire worthless, meaning you're just simply walking away with that premium and then doing more cash secured puts or more covered calls against your shares and collecting that premium. Now, I want to show you another information graphic that I think is going to nail this down to you a lot better, okay? And this is really what the wheel strategy is, okay? At first, like I said, you want to go and sell a put, right? Now you're going to sell that put. You have the collateral to buy those 100 shares. Now, were you assigned in that time frame that you selected? Yes or no? Very simple question, right? If not, okay, we go and sell another put, collect more premium until we do get assigned. Eventually, the point of the wheel strategy is to eventually get assigned your shares, right? So eventually, if you hit a yes, right, you then sell your calls. You sell your covered calls at that point, right? You wait your 30 days. Did you get assigned? No? Okay, let's sell another call against our 100 shares and collect more premium. Right now, eventually, hopefully, you get assigned and sell your shares for a higher price than what you bought them for. Right. So you're now, let's say you did sell them for, now you have $12,000 in your account because you sold them for $120. Right now, you could sell another put using that collateral. Right. And it's kind of there's kind of two wheels happening, right? Because you have this wheel here on this side where you're kind of doing these cash secured puts and selling puts. And then you have your covered call leg where you're trying to actually sell your shares. Now, I call this the quad option strategy. And why do I call it this? Well, because there's 4 ways that we're collecting income when we're doing these trades. Okay. So number 1, obviously the cash secured put. We're deciding when we actually purchase shares, at what price. We are naming our price when we're comfortable to buy 100 shares and collecting premium for that, right? Smash the juice button for it, right? Then if we do get assigned, we have the covered call side, which again, we're using our 100 shares as collateral now, and we're running covered calls, right? And we're collecting more premium, right? On our more premium from the options buyers, right? And we're naming our price again, right? On where we're comfortable selling them. Now, another avenue that I like to go into with the quad option strategy is dividends. Dividends add a great income stream to your portfolio because let's say you're running this on like Pepsi, which is one of my favorite stocks to run and sell options on because I get a nice dividend, right? Oftentimes you might be running your covered calls trying to exit and sell your position, but it might not happen as quickly as you want. Well, guess what? If you're running it on Pepsi or Coke or any of the dividend paying stocks out there, you're now collecting premium, right, from the options buyer because of your covered calls, and you're collecting dividends as well because you're holding the stock. It is absolutely fantastic, right? And lastly, right, the appreciation sale. When you actually sell your shares, right, when you actually finally sell your shares, you lock in additional money because of the appreciation sale, right? And that's why I call this a quad option strategy because there's really 4 ways that you're collecting income from your trades, okay? Now, guys, I want you, if you have any questions about this strategy, I know it may feel a little bit intimidating, but I do want to go over this again, right? And I think this will be a lot more clearer for you, right? When you are buying calls, right, you have the right to buy a stock at a strike price, but you are paying a lot of money for that right to an option seller. Same goes for if you're selling the put, right? You have the right to sell a stock at a strike price. Think options buyers essentially are paying to be able to control 100 shares of a stock instead of buying 100 shares of a stock, right? So, but they're still paying a good amount, that like $500, right? Now, that's better for them because guess what? Like they don't have to pay $12,000 to control 100 shares of stock, okay? And instead, when we're selling, right, we have the obligation, right? Because when we're selling a call, right, we have 100 shares that we're putting up on the line. When we're selling a put, we have the obligation to buy, right? We're putting up our money as collateral. Now, what are the risks with this strategy? A lot of people want to know, well, what are the biggest risks, right? Well, the biggest risks and the biggest way you get burned with this strategy, if you do it on stocks that you don't believe in. Me personally, I like to focus on solid, stable companies that I want to get in on better prices, right? Dollar cost average down. And I don't really get burned. Now, the only time I've gotten burned is when I go into companies that I'm purely chasing amazing premiums on. And let me show you an example of one of these. And this is, I know a lot of you guys like to get into these kind of companies, but me personally, I'm not into that. And one of those companies is MicroStrategy, right? And you can see this company has absolutely, shot up, right? Because of all the Bitcoin and stuff that they've been buying. But if you look at their premiums, right? If we look at like selling a put on this and we just go out, again, about 31 days, I mean, look at this. You're collecting $2,700 in premium, right? Tempting for us, right? Very tempting. Even if we go down, right? 265s, we're collecting $630 in premium. Man, these are nice, right? And oftentimes, I call these the premium blinders, right? These are the premium blinders. You're blinded by premium, right? And you don't want to do that, right? Somehow, some of you, And I see this in our community, in our Facebook group. I definitely recommend. The link will be down below to our free Facebook group. Join us. We're the only option selling community out there. This is all we talk about and all we do. And there's a bunch of resources down there to help you out with collecting premium as well. But you don't want these premium blinders, because this is where you get burned. Some of you, right, will post up in the group that you got into these really sketchy positions, and then you're looking for me to help you. How am I supposed to help you? You set yourself up in a position where with selling options, you're already kind of winning, but you're now going into risky things that's going to cause you to lose. Like, that's your own damn fault. And you have to learn, especially when trading, to be in control of your emotions. Don't chase premiums, right? Now, we are the premium chasers, of course, but we're chasing premiums for companies that we believe in and don't mind holding, right? Because again, we're able to sell covered calls and do all those good things. But when you start going into these sketchy companies, because you're seeing them all over X or whatever, that's where you get burned. If you focus this or only on companies that you believe in and you don't mind holding long term, you're really setting yourself up for success. Guys, take a look in the description. I have a bunch of free trainings and courses down there to help you get started with collecting premiums, with selling options. And do me a favor while you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment for your chance to win a free one-on-one option strategy call with me. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, or repeat. I will see you tomorrow.